Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a brand new edition of Zips Weekly with head football coach Joe Moorhead, brought to you as always by Brian Heating and Cooling and the Akron Fairlawn Hilton Hotel. Well, it was a wet and windy night in DeKalb, Illinois this past Wednesday night. The Zips come out in the short end of a 29-16 loss to the Northern Illinois Huskies. Now all eyes will be on Kent, Ohio on Tuesday night, the battle for the wagon wheel, the Zips against Kent State. Coach, we're going to talk about that game in a minute, but taking a look back at that Northern Illinois game, boy, gave up, 4 or 5 explosive plays. I thought the defense played well at times, and a couple near misses in the third quarter could have been right in that football game.
Yeah, I mean, first off, you have to give credit to Coach Hammock and his staff and players. They built a very consistent and tough and physical program. One that obviously beat Notre Dame earlier in the year, and I thought we went up there with a great plan. As usual, I thought our kids, played with great effort and were very competitive. And, in close games, it comes down to a few plays. And, it sounds like a broken record. Unfortunately, they didn't go in our direction.
Got to give credit to you, Coach, and the coaching staff. Every game, I watch every game. Your kids come out and play 100% and more. They're in every game battling for you. They
are. And, certainly that's a sign, historically speaking, of a good culture and kids who are bought in, and I get tired talking about one-score games and close losses and all that things. And people have no idea what kind of goes into the whole operation here and building the program. But that's a different subject. But our kids, one thing that's going to be consistent week in and week out is they're going to be well prepared. They're going to play hard, and it's going to be a competitive football game.
Well, right now, let's go back to Husky Stadium, DeKalb, Illinois. As we said, it was a wet and windy night. The wind will play a little bit of part of that football game, especially in the second half. But let's pick up action. Northern wins the coin toss, Coach. You're going to get the football to begin playing. Get a pretty good return here.
Yeah, they did. We, got that thing out. I thought we had, outside of the bobble punt, a good day on special teams. And, came out against one of the top 10 defenses in the country, and we're able to move the ball well on our opening drive.
Yeah, looking at their stats, Coach, I think they were number 3 or 4 in the country in third down efficiency, but you came out and got a quick first down and third down, had a number of those against that good Northern defense.
Yeah, it's kind of a risk-reward deal. They bring a lot of pressure and play a lot of man-to-man, and as they say, with rushing the quarterback, the worst seat in the house is behind the quarterback, so as that pass rush got through him there, we were able to step up in the pocket and scramble for some yards.
Yeah, the more I see of Jordan Simmons, Coach, the more I like him. He's running hard, getting better as the season moves on. Here's our touchdown. They tried for the pick. Adrian Norton comes down with it and goes 40 yards down the sidelines for a touchdown.
Yeah, 7-man pressure. Got it protected up. Got him in cover 0 man-to-man with inside leverage. And AD ran a great route, and Ben was able to deliver the ball, and AD did the rest.
Yeah, we're going to watch it again from ground level. I think that was a 68-yard touchdown drive, Coach. And Adrian Norton with the catch and down the sidelines for a touchdown. He's your best receiver.
Absolutely. He's having a very good year and has a ton of potential. And,
He went for 2, Coach, after the touchdown. Then he put Taj in, and he got stuffed there about the goal line.
Yeah, it was an unbalanced play, kind of a muddle huddle where the center was eligible and Taj was sprinted out. And if they didn't cover the center, we were going to throw it to him. They covered him up, and the second option was to run it, and they did a good job defending it.
Nice pass out. I think that's Connor Crayback with the catch and down the sidelines.
Yeah, RPO there and bent, and then it's a little cracking corner there. Almost tripped over the 30-yard line, but kept his feet and got a nice pickup.
We're going to talk about the tight ends maybe in the third segment. I thought Newell and Crayback played pretty well.
They did. Caught the balls that were thrown to them, did a nice job in the run game. Got to clean up some stuff from a protection and a route running standpoint. There's another thing we talked about with the blitzes, and Jordan spitting another run out here on the inside zone.
Yeah, he's running through tacklers a lot here late in the year.
He is, and this drive right here should have ended in a touchdown. We had 3 successful plays called that were dialed up for touchdowns, and once again, you talk about, margin of error being small and needing to be able to execute. We should have come away with 7 instead of 3 there, and we didn't.
Yeah, going back to that field goal, after the play before, it looked like he was 1 step away from taking that to the house.
Yeah,
got tripped up.
Yeah, 2 previous plays was a corner route to Amarion that we got to get our depth on the route, and Ben threw it out of bounds, and then we had a crack screen against cover 0 to Jordan, whether it was a
Here's Jordan or Noel Roach with the block, and sophomore Terrence Thomas from Boardman comes in and stays in bounds and gets the touchdown.
Boardman Spartan, Penn Hills Indian and a Boardman Spartan there. So that's just two good local programs. And yeah, Coach Mavigo's done a great job all year with the punt return and pressuring the punter. We've been really, really close. Finally great to get one block.
17-16, the Zips are right back in this football game. And again, the defense swarming. Did I see you go kind of sometimes to a 5-man front there defensively some point?
We did, and obviously, I mean, they ran through us like through a goose last year, and I thought our coaches and staff did a lot better in terms of a plan to stop the run game with the multiple tight end sets and the pullers and things like that. And I'm not saying by any means that we completely shut them down, but it was a much better showing defensively.
Sometimes their defense a little undersized, Coach, but they have been in the weight room. They are a strong group.
Yeah, they're not as strong and big as Northern Illinois, a team that's. But yes, our guys are we're working hard in the weight room with Coach O. There's Jake Noel, as you mentioned there, with the tight end screen.
Yeah.
Good to see him with a big pickup there.
They're going to score to make it 23-16 at halftime, Coach. But I'll tell you, you get into the locker room, you're on the road against a team that knocked off Notre Dame. You're only down by a touchdown. You got to feel pretty positive coming out in the second half.
Yeah, I think we gave up 275 yards offense in the first half, and a lot of those, as you mentioned, were on a couple explosive plays.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we did a fairly good job bottling the run. We had some eye discipline issues on the back end in terms of coverage. That third down naked that they got the big first down on, mesh route, and then the goal line play. So, that's one thing when you're defending the run and committing numbers to the box is that your guys on the back end got to have great eye discipline, and we needed to be a little bit better in that first half.
23-16, the Zips are down at halftime Wednesday night out in DeKalb, Illinois, Husky Stadium. We're going to take a break, come back and look at highlights from the second half right after this.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes E.H. Roberts Heating and Cooling. Find them at ehroberts.com.
Dear Dr. Roque, thank you for being an amazing faculty member at the University of Akron. I have definitely become a better version of myself throughout my time at UA with your help.
Wow. Thank you. It's all about the students. They're more than just names on tests.
He has been really there for me. There are people that are there to help you understand, whether it's material in a class or it's just life advice.
Gotcha.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Weekly with head football coach Joe Moorhead. We are watching highlights from Wednesday's game out at Husky Stadium, DeKalb, Illinois. We're at halftime right now. The Zips down 23-16. Let's go ahead and pick up highlights right now because the third quarter, Coach, is going to be scoreless. And I remember sitting up in the press box watching, and on the way home, I'm thinking, wow, we had a couple of great opportunities in that third quarter to score. A couple of drop passes really hurt us.
Yeah, it was a battle of attrition. Both defenses went in and made very good adjustments, and as you mentioned, there were 3 plays in the second half. One in the third quarter where he dropped the game tying touchdown, and a couple more in the fourth quarter to make it a different game. But those are the plays if you're going to beat a team like Northern Illinois that need to go in your direction, and we got to coach better, make sure that when we make the calls and put the kids in position to be successful, then we got to go out and execute and make the play.
What a good defensive play here by the Zips, and I'll tell you, had a guy by the name of Brian McCoy who was playing close to home Wednesday night, and I'm sure he was extra motivated.
Yeah, he's all over the field. You see a good catch here by Jarvis Rush, JUCO kid. But yeah, Brian had 15 tackles, I believe 8 solos, and as he's been all year and throughout his career here, just a guy that is all over the field making a ton of plays.
Just going to hit the tight end right in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that was a play right before the fourth down play where we had the guy streaking open for the game-time touchdown.
Again, the defense, we mentioned some of the explosive plays. In between all that, Coach, I thought they shut down a pretty good Northern Illinois running game.
Yeah, it's an excellent run game. Big, strong. There are 11,000 combined snaps between their 5 offensive line starters in 4 years, a bunch of 50-year seniors. As you can see, they're a program that's committed to developing their guys and providing resources. That looks like a Power 5 offensive line.
Well, you can see by the camera right now, the rain was off and on all night, windy. Now we're going to get the football to 1. We're going to throw it out to Jordan Simmons for a first down. That got us out of trouble a little bit.
Yeah, whenever you're backed up, the goal was 20 yards or 2 first downs in order to flip field position. And we did that and a little bit more, so you don't want to take a 3-and-out on the one and punt and give them a short field. And although it didn't result in a score, it was good to flip the field and help the defense out.
As I mentioned after the game, Coach, talking, it was 23-16 for a long way in that second half.
Yeah, we had our chances, and with what they do running the ball and kind of huddling and milking the clock, you're not going to get a ton of opportunities. I believe we ran 75 plays to their 58. And, you got to maximize on your opportunities because you're not going to see the ball a ton.
Yeah, great pursuit there by, I think that was C.J. Nunnally coming across the field.
Yeah, when they were in their multiple tight end sets, we had him playing kind of Sam linebacker and standing up, and he did a nice job there.
Well, we're going to get the ball, I think, at the 6-yard line. After they saved the punt, we're going to come back upfield trying to make something happen.
Yeah, good run by Simmons. And you say, well, why don't you run the ball more in conditions like that? Well, you can't just keep handing the ball off and running the ball when you're not getting a ton of yards. You got to move the ball somehow. So he did a nice job with the opportunities he was provided. And if we were opening bigger holes, we'd hand the ball off to him more.
Was the wind much of a factor, Coach? I got down on the field late, but it looked like that third quarter we had the advantage a little bit.
Midway through the first half, the rain and the wind kind of died down. In the second half, the weather was really somewhat negligible. I mean, it wasn't raining a ton. It was more of a steady drizzle, and the wind wasn't. It was blowing right to left as we look at the screen now, but it wasn't horrendous.
So
to the point where you gotta alter your game plan.
Yeah, exactly. Zips moving down the field. As you can see, time running out. Kind of a miracle right now, Coach. You got to get into the end zone, then get it back again, and that was tough.
Yeah, we were looking to punch it in there, get a quick score, and then go with the onsides. But unfortunately, we had a leaky protection and dropped the ball there on that 4th down pass. It would have been a first down. So yeah, at the end of the day, we needed to score points in the second half. We didn't do it. The defense made great adjustments, held them to 1 touchdown. And then you end up losing by 2 scores to a very good football team when you had every opportunity throughout the course of the game to tie it or go ahead. And like I said, that's unfortunate because I thought the kids they played their butts off.
29-16 was the final in DeKalb. We're going to take a break, come back and look at some of the outstanding performances of that game right after this timeout.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
Here, let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes E.H. Roberts Heating and Cooling. Find them at ehroberts.com.
Come on over and check out what we're doing. Let's go! Here we go now.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Weekly. During our third segment, we always talk about some of the outstanding performances by individual players and units, but Coach, I think we should stop right here and talk about an outstanding performance by a former coach here at the University of Akron, Jerry Faust, who passed away this past week. And Coach, I know you knew him a little bit, but great coach. He really established one of the all-time great high school football programs down at Cincinnati Moeller, came to Akron from Notre Dame, and he was a unbelievable guy, a positive attitude, and just a super guy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a legendary coaching career
Yeah.
in high school and college, but more important than that, just a tremendous person. You would always hear Coach before you would see him.
Yes, sir.
He'd come in with a loud, booming, bellowing voice, and there was no mistake who was walking in the building. Positive, infectious energy. Never had a bad day, never met a person he didn't like. And this was with my interactions with him my first time here,
Yeah.
but you could see why he was loved by all, and
Yeah.
just a pillar of the football community and really life in general.
Yeah, he never left Akron after leaving the university, lived out on the west side of Akron and really loved the university, loved the community. And Coach, I'm sure a lot of times he would come in to you and the other coaches when you were here previously and give you a little pep talk, keep you going. That was important.
He was instant energy, and you always, whenever he walked in the room and then he walked out, you always felt better after he walked out. He was that kind of guy.
Quick story, Jerry and I did a live TV show when he was here as a head football coach and was taped up in, not taped, but run live up in Portage County. And that that show was going right into the Kent State residence halls, and we would get live phone calls on the air. And I'll tell you, Coach, I never knew what we were going to get when that phone rang, and he handled every call, whether it was positive or negative, and I admired him because there were some tough phone calls that came in. You can imagine what that was like.
You need to have your finger on the dump button there.
That's right.
But yeah, that's challenging for sure.
Exactly. Right now, let's talk about some of the outstanding performances from this past week out in DeKalb. And the offensive line, Coach, you threw the ball about 50 times. I can only remember a few times where they got pressure. I thought they did a good job protecting the quarterback.
Yeah, I think we only gave up 4 sacks, and we were able to do some max protection stuff to try to combat their various pressures. And Ben did a good job getting the ball out of his hand, and I think we were smart with throwing some screens and moving the pocket a little bit. But anytime you throw the ball that many times, the line's got to do a good job keeping the quarterback upright.
Yeah. Jordan Simmons, we talked about him a few minutes ago, the transfer from Michigan State. Strong runner, Coach, and late in the year when the weather doesn't really cooperate, you need a guy who can break tackles, and I think he's that type of runner for you.
He is, and as we talk about every week, the number of carries will increase with our ability to open holes for him better.
Yeah.
And you can't just keep hitting your head against a brick wall. You got to make sure that when you're calling things that they have a chance for success and ability to move the ball and score points. But Jordan's certainly a guy that can, when he gets in the open, run away from people.
Talk about the tight ends, Jake Newell and Connor Kraybeck. A lot of times we highlight their catches, Coach, but I think they do a good job blocking for you. They're getting better at that.
Yeah, they're 2 guys, once again, that you brought in and we knew were developmental. Connor missed all last year with an injury, and Jake played last year a little bit undersized, so he's bulked himself up a bit. Like, as you mentioned last week, the training table would help. But, those are 2 guys that are, improved from a route running and, yard after catch perspective. But are definitely, as they add size and experience, improving in the run game as well.
Kind of a new name at linebacker, Gage Summers, came in, I think, late in the recruiting year out of California, and he made a few tackles for you.
Yeah, he did. I think he had 11 total. I think 5 solos, 6 assists. A guy that, when we recruited him, harken back to, built a bit in the Bubba Arslanian mode. Not the tallest guy, but kind of ball of muscle, runs around, very active, has the ability to slip box, and it was good to see Gage be able to kind of jump in there and, complement Antavius and Brian's play at inside backer.
Well, the guy played next to him most of the game, Brian McCoy, was playing maybe about a half hour away from his home, and he's always motivated. I'm guessing there was extra motivation, Coach, and he was just all over the place again.
Yeah, for a few years now, he's been one of the top linebackers in the league and has continued that level of play throughout this season. And that's one thing that's always going to be consistent for Brian. He's going to have the right mentality. He's going to practice well during the week, and he's going to go out there for 60 minutes or however long the game takes, and he's going to play with maximum effort 100% of the time.
You talk about maximum effort. A kid I remember that we recruited out of Pittsburgh, Noel Roach, who came in as a good defensive back, has spent most of his time on special teams. It's good to see that type of kid come in, block the punt for you.
Yeah, great program guy. Comes from an excellent family from my hometown. And I think Noel is something that you don't see in college football much anymore. A guy who maybe hasn't been at the top of the depth chart or getting a ton of reps on defense, but has been a stalwart on special teams and a guy that does a great job in the classroom, was never an issue off the field, and is just a great kid, working while he waits, and then got an opportunity on special teams and made a big play.
Yeah, he blocks the punt. Then Terrence Thomas, a sophomore from over in, I think, Boardman over there, and the Spartans of Boardman, and he was right on that one, stayed in bounds. I thought maybe they had to replay that one, and they said, okay, you're good. You stayed in. He got the touchdown.
Yeah, a lot of times those reviews don't go our way. This one did. But yeah, anytime you block a punt in a game, not just block it before a touchdown, that's always a huge momentum swing for the special teams and the team in general.
Talk about special teams, the consistency of Garrison Smith. He was solid again, Coach, kicked the field goal for you. And it's got to be comforting to know you get down there, you can't get into the end zone. He's pretty solid from about 40 in?
Yeah, he is. Every week we have a meeting prior to the game and talk about yard line, and we say 31-32. Once we get to there, we feel confident that it's going to be points, and with the win, we add a little bit more. But always a kid who's very thankful for the opportunity. He bakes a little bit, so after every game, he brings in a pan of brownies for the protection team, and he slides one into me too, and certainly you could tell I haven't turned away many brownies
Yeah.
the past few years.
Sounds good.
Maybe I should start.
Sounds good. We talked about the front four, front five sometimes on defense because Northern Illinois, one of the things we talked about on the radio side was how well this team runs the football. Really good group of running backs, except for those explosive plays. I think they did a good job on them.
We did, and anytime you're going to see multiple tight ends with a bunch of pullers and misdirection, you got to make sure that you have support on the back end from your safeties and your corners, that the backers are turning the pullers back into pursuit. And that's actually what ended up happening. The ones that got out, we either didn't tackle with the support defender or we put the ball on the wrong pad from the inside linebacker standpoint. But for the most part, as mentioned, after last year's track meet, it was a much better performance by our defense defending the run.
Which brings us to the Kent State game, the wagon wheel. We're going to come back and talk about that right after this.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
Here, let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes E.H. Roberts Heating and Cooling. Find them at ehroberts.com.
Dear Dr. Kapler, you have shown over and over the immense love and passion that you have for developing not only great students, but more importantly, great humans.
That's beautiful.
I absolutely feel the same way, not only about you, but about all my students.
It's so rare that you're going to meet someone that says, hey, you as a person, I care about you and I love you. And she does that for so many students.
Do I get to hug him?
Well, our weekly scouting report brought to you as always by the Akron Fairlawn Hilton Hotel. We're glad to have them as a sponsor every week here. And this week, a special scouting report. It's the Battle for the Wagon Wheel, a game everybody circles on the calendar, 7 o'clock. Tuesday night, Dick Stadium at Kent State. And Coach, it's kind of a cliche throughout the record books. Really, this is one of those games, I think anything can happen, trick plays, weather, it's all encompassed in that game on Tuesday night.
Yeah, any great rivalry usually shares a couple of different ingredients, passion for their school from the fan bases, a general close proximity between the two schools. I believe ours is the closest in any FBS, and then familiarity between the players. I guess in the portal era that's probably a little bit different, but certainly this is one that means a lot to a lot of people, particularly our program, and we're excited for the opportunity to keep the wheel here.
You take a look at Kent State right now, and I checked them out last night. Offensively, Coach, they've done some good things. They had 24 points against Pitt, 33 against Eastern Michigan, and 35 against Ball State. So potentially, they can move the football.
Yeah, Mark Harney, their OC, Fordham guy.
Yeah.
So he's smart. But they run an RPO-based system, and whether it's Ulatowski or the Tomlinson kid in there, quarterback, both are very capable. The running back is kind of right around the same level of production as Jordan, but their two biggest weapons on offense are this McCray kid and Floria, the receiver. So certainly we know we're going to be challenged, with the RPOs and the run game and things, but at the end of the day, you gotta not let the game records wreck the game, and the McCray and Floria kid, they can do that to you.
Yeah, both those guys, Coach, have 37 receptions each, so those are the go-to guys. Hey, the series, Akron versus Kent State, this will be the 67th meeting between Akron and Kent. Akron leads the series right now, 36-28-2. However, once we started playing for the wagon wheel, Kent leads 27-25, and who can forget that game last year, Coach? We scored 21 fourth-quarter points to win that one.
Yeah, and probably the last thing you'd expect, Jeff Undercuffler running it in for the
game-winning
touch. It was a good play. The call was pretty good, but the execution is more important with the kids. But at the end of the day, and then we got 2 sacks at the end, and just you know what it is, and certainly the utmost respect for Coach Burns and what he's doing to build a program over there. And but yeah, any time that you can win a rivalry game, they're all important, but there's ones that are a little extra special, and this is one of those games.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be 7 o'clock Tuesday night, Dick Stadium up at Kent State University. Hope to see a lot of Zips up there. For the coach, I'm Joe Dunn. Thanks for watching. Back here next week with more Zips Weekly. And always remember, go Zips.
This has been a presentation from Learfield IMG College.